We know you started track cycling at the age of 12. At what age did you know you wanted to become pro?
The age of 12. Yeah, it's funny. I watched the Olympic Games in Barcelona, and Chris Boardman won the individual pursuit on the famous Lotus bike, which was the first carbon monocoque frame. And I was 12 and I watched it, and it was very short, so you could see what was happening and it was easy to follow. And he caught his opponent, Jens Lehmann, in 3.5 minutes. And I remember watching it and thinking, that's what I want to do with my life. And it's interesting, 12 years from watching that, I won that event in Athens at the Olympic Games with Chris Boardman as my coach trackside. So it was very poetic.
You started off as a successful track cyclist and then became a successful road cyclist too. How has track cycling helped you with road?
I think that the best road riders, they come from the track. Geraint Thomas was the same. Mark Cavendish, lots of the guys in the British program came from the track program. And it's a great way of finessing your pedal stroke, getting used to high cadence work, getting used to sort of big powers at high cadences, bike handling skills. And also I found it's a great education and a great schooling for maintenance of your bike and things like that. And, changing your own gears and understanding the sort of how the bike works and things like that. Because as you know, when you come into a road team now, everyone does that for you. But when you're at the track, you've got to be self-sufficient in making sure your tyres are well done and all that. So I think it's a great sort of apprenticeship for cycling.
What characteristics do you have to consider when trying to become pro?
All those things I just mentioned, really. I think, someone said something to me when I was 18. I went to the Commonwealth Games and I roomed with an old professional, Colin Sturgis, and he said to me, one thing that's always never left me, he said, a good pro is an organised pro. So being organised, making sure you're self-sufficient, in control of your own destiny, really, Joe. Never really relying on anyone else to do anything for you. So in that comes, even if you have a coach, you should be in control of your own program and learn to think for yourself, really, rather than leaving your destiny in someone else's hands. So, don't be frightened to question things. If someone's telling you to do a 6-hour ride and a 5-hour ride the day after, ask why. What's the reasoning behind this? And I think that's a good way of constantly assessing yourself. And then if you change coaches in the future, you've always got a good understanding of how your body works.
It must be an honor being knighted. How does this compare to your other cycling achievements?
Well, I think the knighthood came off the back of my cycling achievements. So I think it was in recognition for everything we'd done on a bike, as Mark Cavendish was this year. So it was incredible to go to Palace. I grew up less than a mile from Buckingham Palace, and I never imagined one day that I would be in there. There's a film when I was a child called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and he grows up next to this chocolate factory. You never imagined that one day he'd be in the chocolate factory. And that was a bit like Buckingham Palace for me. I took my granddad with me, which was a bit like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So it was incredible.
Any advice for young cyclists like us?
Enjoy what you do. Everyone says that. It's a natural one. But I think cycling, as you said, I started when I was 12 and I'm 44 now. So cycling has given me everything for over 30 years of my life. My son's racing now. And I'm still able to come to things like this and see lots of people I've raced with and meet the new generation of cyclists. And it's a fantastic sport that, once you're in it, it's not always about winning Tour de France's Olympic golds. There's this great social side to it, and you build friends for life.